Hello, nieces and niestos. How are you today? Welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you guys for coming back to the channel. I'm SavingsFashionista, and over here we do mainly things fragrance, whether it's body or home. And today we are here to talk fragrances. We will be talking about what I feel about these dupes and or alternatives for higher end and lower end fragrances. So if you're interested in hearing all about it, please stay tuned. Okay, Nistas. I have probably about close to 10 alternatives or dupes. I really prefer to say the word alternative because there are maybe one in here that I think that's two. That's a spot on dupe in my opinion, but that will vary from person to person because fragrance is so subjective. So we're going to just jump right into it, and these are just my subjective opinions, you guys. So there's no need to get too serious about it. I just want to share with you what I think about these alternatives or dupes. All right, so we're going to start off with Eilish from Billie Eilish. This is a fragrance that I just kind of like happened to stumble across, was never looking for it. I don't even think I knew anything about it. Was in Ulta one day doing some sampling. Even when I sampled the fragrance, I'm like, okay, it's just a sample. But this thing did something for me on the fragrance strip inside of my purse, so much so till I went to the store the next day or the next 2 days and purchased this fragrance. The bottle is absolutely a piece of art in my opinion. I have already featured this in my empties for fragrances, and if you have not checked out that video, you can check it out if you click the card above. But as you see, I kept this one because, like I said, it's like a piece of art. So this is Eilish by Eilish, and it is a vanilla forward fragrance. It is a spicy fragrance. I've worn this mainly during the fall and winter seasons, but I have kind of like wore it maybe once or twice in the spring season, and it does wear, like a transition from winter to spring. It transitions well, but it's a beautiful fragrance, you guys. So just being out in the social media world, I've heard quite a few content creators talk about what a perfect dupe this fragrance is, and in my opinion, it is a dupe, and I like the dupe better than I like the original. So the dupe is an Arabian fragrance by Lataffa, and this is Nebras Gold. I just did a video on my viral or my top Arabian Middle Eastern fragrances. So if you're interested in checking that video out, you can click the card above. But this right here, it smells almost exactly like this. To me, it smells better. It's a little bit more spicier in my opinion, but the vanilla is so good. It's cozy. It has like a powdery aspect to it. I just love when fragrances can give you more than just one type of category. You definitely get the vanilla. You get the spiciness, yet it's cozy at the same time. And I've always said that I feel that lavender is a hidden fragrance in the both of these because I'm smelling lavender, and it could just be the combinations of two things that make it smell like lavender. But this is really good. I would not say that this is the more affordable version because this Lataffa and the Billie Eilish, you get more in this container. They're kind of like both affordable, and there's only maybe a $10 to $15 difference between the two. But as far as my liking, I don't know if I would ever repurchase Eilish because the lasting power is very minimal compared to the Nebras Gold. So this is what I really like in regards to this fragrance DNA, and it is so good. So again, this is Nebras Gold and Eilish by Billie Eilish. All right, so the next one is something that is a favorite of mine. This was a 2023 release, and I have fallen completely head over heels for this fragrance. I really like it. This is my second bottle, and this is Pistachio Gelato from KayAli, and this is a Gourmand Delight. It is gourmand. It's airy. It's one of those mood elevating fragrances. I really, really enjoy this fragrance. It is so, so good. Really enjoy it. And someone just gave me a fragrance that they had purchased for themselves. I had seen, you know, content creators talking about it over on TikTok, but I thought, okay, well, I have this. I don't need the dupe if I have the fragrance. Someone shared this with me. They said that it was too sweet for them. When I got the fragrance, I was like, that's that fragrance that I've been seeing on my TikTok thread saying that it is a dupe for the Young Pistachio. And you guys, this is so good. Now, like I said, this is, a Middle Eastern fragrance, but this right here, you guys, this is almost exact. I don't think that I like one over the other from what I can tell now. Now, I may come back later after I experience this a little bit more to tell whether I like one over the other, but this is so, so close. So close. And it is so good. It does the same thing for me that the Young Pistachio does. It uplifts my mood. I really enjoy the way that it smells, and it is really good. So this, I checked the price on Aroma Concepts. This is like $39. And this retails for, I want to say $138, but you can always get a sale at Sephora if they're doing a 20% off. And if you're a part of Huda's Beauty Club, she has this awesome rewards program over on Huda Beauty. So you can get this at an affordable price, but of course, the lowest I've gotten it is like $100, and there is a $60 difference between the two, even if you're getting it on sale. So really enjoyed this as a new fragrance in my collection. I just got this last week. They shared it with me and really enjoy it, but it's a good match. It is really a good match. So here we have it. And this is called Pistachio Hair. That's what it's called. All right. So the next fragrance is something that I didn't even know that I needed this fragrance. But the alternative that I'm going to share with you, I fell in love with it just being, a part of the Bath and Body Works community and getting some of the fragrances. But this right here is Burberry Her. And I think my girl Boho Guru was the first person who I heard say this. Now, I have seen other content creators say it, but Boho was the first one that I heard say it. And because when she shared it, I knew that I liked this Bath and Body Works product so much. And if you're a part of the community, you already know what I'm going to say. But I did not know that I needed this. And I think I just got this in 23. But as you can see, I have really used it. I do want to get the elixir because they say the elixir is much more sweeter and it lasts a little longer. But this is just the original Burberry Her with the pink cap on it. It is a strawberry forward fragrance. Absolutely beautiful. But the dupe, and it's almost spot on, you guys, it is the Fall in Bloom. This is not the latest packaging. I think the latest packaging came out in the Facet collection. But this is so good. Now, this has strawberries in it and some other florals and some other type of berries. This right here is what I'm speaking about. But this right here, the fragrance notes, it has juicy plum, wood blooms, and velvet moss. And it is so good. This is good. But it pairs very well together. Really enjoy it. I do have a backup of it. And I think that it's a great dupe. And even if you don't consider this as being your fragrance, dupes and alternatives, I think they just pair well if you have the original fragrance because it helps the fragrance just last longer. So it smells to me just like the Burberry Her, and it pairs really well with it. All right, so the next fragrance is a fragrance that I have not yet add it to my collection. I'm thinking about adding it to my collection. I have had a sample of it, and I think I used it up because I could not find the sample decant when I was pulling my fragrances together before doing this video. But I'm going to share a picture with you. And this was one of the cherry fragrances that came out at the beginning of 2023 from Tom Ford. And this is the Cherry Smoke. Now, every time I think about it, sometimes I get irritated with myself because I think I made a hasteful decision instead of getting the cherry smoke, or maybe I just wasn't vibing with it the day that I went and purchased it. I wish that I had gotten the cherry smoke opposed to the one that I got, but I'm happy with the one that I got. And I felt like eventually I would add them both to my collection, but I have not yet added the cherry smoke. But this is a woody, smoky type of cherry. It's like it has some wood notes in it as well as a very smoky note, and it is absolutely beautiful. I really like it. And as far as the performance, it did pretty well with the sample that I had. But I recently added something to my collection in 2023. I don't know what made me buy this. I bought it during the VIB sale, and I had heard people talk about it, and I love cherry fragrances. But I got this right here. This Cherry Ambition by the Seven Virtues. I didn't even think the Seven Virtues would make something this strong, this deep, and this rich because it is a green product. But this right here, it has the cherry, it has the saffron, and it has like a vanilla marshmallow note in it. But to me, you guys, this is a great alternative if you do not want to pay that expensive $295 price for the Tom Ford Cherry Smoke. This right here is a great alternative. And if you just wanted to get it and play around with it, I think this retails for like 80 bucks. And you can find it sometimes on sale at Sephora, or even try the Seven Virtues site. Sometimes they have like 20% off sales. But I do think that this is a fairly decent and passable alternative for the Cherry Smoke by Tom Ford. All right. So the next one, you guys, this is one of those overly popular fragrance. I understand why it's as popular as it is. I'm glad that I do have it in my collection. But this is from the House of Parfums de Marley. And this is Miss Pretty Oriana. This is the Gourmand Marshmallow Goodie from that line. And this is a little different from what I would probably have expected Parfums de Marley to have, because it is so sugary and it does give you that expensive gourmand edge. But this right here, so good. When you see this, just think of sweet marshmallows. That's what I think about when I smell this, and even when I'm wearing this, it is so good. But a great and more affordable alternative for this fragrance. It's not a spot on dupe. I'm not saying that. I don't even think that it's 90% close, but I do think that it is a great alternative if you do not want to pay the price for this. And it is the I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess by Kilian. This is a marshmallow forward fragrance, but it's just a little different from the Oriana because this is a little bit more airy, and it has like a subtle herbal note to it because it has like some tea in it. But in my opinion, it is a very good alternative. It doesn't last. It's not as nuclear as the Oriana, but it is a nice substitute in my opinion. So again, the Oriana and the Princess by Kilian. All right, the next fragrance, you guys. Now, I heard that this was a dupe for this before I actually even got this particular fragrance. I had the alternative, not dupe, but alternative, because I don't think it's a dupe. The alternative before I had a fragrance from this particular line. And I really enjoy the alternative in every form that Bath and Body Works had to offer. But I ended up getting, I had smelled the original one and I did agree, but the original one, or the Intense, it just never wowed me to the point where I went and purchased it. But I did purchase the one that came after the first two releases, and this is the Libre La Parfum. And all of the Libres, it has that subtle lavender as well as that orange blossom DNA, all of them. Now they're different, they have their own little different personalities. However, to me, this is the best one. This is the best one. And I have the Absolute Plantain as well, but this is the best one. However, out of the two that I have, this one and the Absolute Plantain, I do think that this is a very great layering component. That's almost very, very similar. I was about to say almost identical, but I'm trying to be very selective with the terms that I use because I don't want to be misleading. But this is a very great alternative. This is the Fairytale by Bath and Body Works. Now, if you layer this right, this was so, I even have this in a perfume. If you layer it right and add maybe a vanilla base to it, this right here could work as a fragrance because it's just that strong. If you're layering it and like I say, you use this particular lotion and put a little bit more vanilla, like a vanilla lotion in with it, this could serve as a fragrance. It is just that good, but it does pair very well as a layering component and or an alternative for the Libre line. So the fragrance notes in Fairytale are pomegranate nectar, fresh orange blossom, and I think that's where the similarity come in, vanilla bean, and warm amber. So you have three notes in, well, two notes in here that are very dominant in the Libre fragrances as well. So again, the Libre, and I think any of them would be a great match for it because it does give you that undertone of vanilla as well as orange blossom with a little bit lavender. But these two are really great together. All right, so the next fragrance, this fragrance that I'm about to share with you is not a love for me. It's not really even a like. I tried to force myself into liking this fragrance because I just felt like I was supposed to like the fragrance because it was just popular and hype. But, you know, no matter what I try to do as far as forcing myself to like it, it never worked. Initially, in opening, I like it, but it's the dry down. It's something about the dry down that just does not mix well with me. And the fragrance that I am speaking of is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Now, this is a love for many, and just sniffing it like this, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but it has to be that benzoin. It's some type of resin in this fragrance. When it dries down, I have another fragrance that does the same thing as this. When it dries down, I cannot stand it. So this right here, what I feel is a great alternative if you don't like that thing that I'm talking about in here that dries down, because I have had several people to agree with me. I don't know exactly what it is. I just think it's some type of benzoin that they don't like it either. This fragrance right here is a very great alternative. You're going to get that same opening note with the cherry, but it doesn't give you that just chemical-like dry down that I don't like. And the alternative would be Love Feast Burning Cherry 48 by KayAli. And I always say Love Feast is Love Fest. Not a feast, but a fest. Love Fest Burning Cherry. Now, you get that same sour cherry liqueur opening, and you do get some woodiness to it because it does have that Palo Santos and the Gaiac wood, but it's different from the Lost Cherry. The dry down in this is a love for me, and it is way more tolerable than whatever the dry down is in the Tom Ford, and I think that it is an awesome alternative for the Lost Cherry. So again, Lost Cherry and KayAli Love Fest Burning Cherry. All right, the next one is also from the house of Tom Ford. And this is the cherry that I opted to get when the two cherries came out. The cherry twins came out. I do wish, well, let me stop saying that. When I initially got this, I wish that I had got the cherry smoke, but I'm happy that I have this. It is a nice fragrance. It is definitely more of an airy. It's more befitting for spring and summer, in my opinion. It has a beautiful jasmine note in it, and it just smells so good. It's a beautiful fragrance. But I recently got something in my collection that I think would be a more affordable alternative for this particular fragrance, because Tom, oh, he's just doing the most with these prices. And the fragrance that I think would be a decent alternative with that same like airy cheeriness is something that I just recently picked up. And as you can see, I still have it in the box because it's just a little too light for what I felt like it would be. It is not at all a dupe. It's not at all an alternative, in my opinion. I just think that it has the same type of cheeriness to it. Now, this has a coffee note in it, and it does have its vanillas, but this is not as rich as I thought it would be. So that's why I am comparing it to the electric chair, because like I said, this is more of an airy, watery cherry. And that's what this is giving me. So it may change over time, once this gets some shelf life. But right now, if you were looking into getting this, I just feel like this would be a fairly decent alternative for it at a more affordable price. So again, this is the Electric Cherry and Black Opium over Red. So you guys, if you have any additional questions about the fragrances and the alternatives and or dupes that I shared with you, you can leave those questions in the comments below. Or if you want to share your thoughts about these dupes, quote unquote, that I shared, or if you have some that you would like to share with me, please go right ahead. I want to thank you guys again for coming back to the channel. Your support means everything to me. And do not forget, you, yes, you are great. Bye-bye.